My name is Dr. Arthur Voss. I have stood at the edge of annihilation and called it protocol. I've watched species unravel not because we hated them, but because we survived them. This vessel, the U.S.H. Vanguard, was once a warship. Now it drifts, heavy with memory. We don't fire weapons anymore. We open minds. I treat those who have faced humans and walked away. Few do. Fewer still come here to talk. Welcome, Grand Strategist Serenya'Kael of House Allarian. The chair will adjust to your height and spinal curvature. Take your time. Breathe, if your kind does. You are safe here. This room does not remember what you've done, only what you've endured. I understand this is your first session. I won't rush you. When you're ready, state your name, your title, your race, and then take me to the moment when your war with humanity began.
I am Serenya'Kael, bonded heiress of House Allarian, Grand Strategist of the 7th Expansion Fleet, sovereign agent of the Elarien Dominion. Our kind do not dream as you do. We remember forward. Memory and prophecy are twined within us. We saw the path of conquest long before we walked it. Humanity was never meant to be part of that path. You were a statistical anomaly, a cosmic hiccup, a primitive species flaring up in an unclaimed spiral sector. We observed your expansion, your fumbling wars, your crude artificial intelligences. But we did not fear you. We targeted you. The directive came from the High Conclave: subdue Sol region, extract trade routes, establish dominion across the auric lattice. Humans were to be displaced, quietly, elegantly. I architected the first wave personally. We arrived at New Bastion, one of your deep space colonies, barren but strategically positioned between two lattice nodes. We had a fleet of gleaming arc ships, psionic decimators, planetary silence grids. You had farming bots. It should have been a cleansing. Instead, it was a lesson. Our first contact was bloodless. By design, we severed their communications with a single pulse from the lattice disruptor. Their defense grid flickered and died. Satellites fell like rusted leaves. Our emissary drone descended upon their capital node, a modest structure of steel and soil, barely 2 stories high. The message was simple. You are now subjects of the Allarian Dominion. Compliance will be rewarded. Resistance will be regrettable. The humans responded 5 hours later, not with an ambassador, not with troops, but with a child. She walked alone into our outer perimeter. No armor, no translator, just a hand-drawn flag, your Earth symbol, painted in crude colors, hoisted high in trembling hands. We intercepted her immediately. She did not cry. She looked me, the Grand Strategist, in the eyes and said, "You can't have us." I thought it was manipulation, some emotional ploy, but her sincerity, it stung. That night, 2 of our silence grids failed. Their engineers, using what we thought were agricultural transmitters, had overclocked the entire system to burn itself out. We lost 1/5 of our network control in 12 minutes. That colony should have folded in a day. It held for 9.
Why do you think they resisted?
They had nothing to gain, no reinforcements, no fleets, no hope. And yet, they refused. On the 4th day, we advanced with precision. They'd fortified tunnels with automated welding arms, repurposed to slash through our scout units. Cunning, primitive. We laughed at first, but the laughter died because the attacks became coordinated, rhythmic. We learned later they had embedded coded patterns into emergency lighting, using blinking lights to issue battlefield commands without speaking a word. Children relayed orders, elders rerouted power, farmers became saboteurs. They fought not like soldiers, but like organisms. Every part sacrificed something for the whole. My forces began to splinter, not from death, but from doubt. One of my lieutenants, a noble from House Varelian, questioned the doctrine for the first time in her life. She asked, "What if we are not bringing order? What if we are breaking something sacred?" I dismissed her. She died the next day. Crushed in a tunnel collapse she had insisted we avoid, the humans had lured us in, then brought the entire structure down with timed seismic charges. It wasn't rage, it was strategy. And I, the great tactician of my era, had walked willingly into it. After the tunnels collapsed, I ordered a full withdrawal, not retreat, regrouping. I told myself that, but in truth, we ran. The humans didn't pursue, they simply waited, and that was somehow worse. Days passed. Our fleet hung above the colony like polished blades, yet we could not pierce their resolve. They used silence as a weapon. Our psionic field units, trained to manipulate fear, amplify dread, returned to me, silent. One of them, an elite empath, said only this: "Their minds burn with loss, but not with despair, only fire." I dismissed her too. She leapt from the observation deck that night. That was the first time I asked myself, not how do we win, but what have we awakened? We tried to bargain. Our emissaries offered technology, trade, protection. They responded by broadcasting footage from Earth's past, wars. So many wars. Not to boast, not to threaten, to warn us. The footage showed men running through fire, women shielding wounded with their own bodies, whole cities refusing to bow even as they burned. I watched hours of it, alone in my command chamber. I began to understand. You do not fear extinction, you fear surrender. To you, death is not the end. It is merely the line you draw for others.
And how did that realization affect you?
It shattered me. All my life I believed we, the Allarian, were the apex. But in those transmissions, I saw your species become the storm. And worse, survive it. You weren't born to dominate. You were born to endure. We came to conquer. You taught us to kneel. On the final night of our occupation attempt, I stood outside the main shield barrier, alone. I had removed my command sigil. I carried no weapon. I approached their perimeter, expecting death. A boy stood there, 16 Earth years maybe, covered in ash, holding a rifle almost as tall as he was. He didn't shoot. He asked, "Are you here to surrender?" I told him, "No, only to listen." He lowered the rifle and said, "Then you'd better sit down." I stayed at their perimeter for 3 hours. No weapons, no demands, just watching. I saw humans tending to their wounded, rationing their food, stitching their uniforms with hands that had held rifles only hours before. They bled together, wept together, and then they laughed, not in mockery, in defiance, as if to say, "We are still here." We had leveled their skyports, cut their data streams, blotted out their stars with the shadow of our fleet, and still, they laughed. Do you understand what that does to a strategist? To see the math break, the logic fracture? We were perfect. Our formations, our weaponry, our psionic superiority. We were 1,000 years ahead, and none of it accounted for a mother digging a trench with her bare hands, while whispering lullabies to a baby on her back, or an old man rewiring a mining drone into a bomb he strapped to his chest, or a girl, 11 years old, scrawling, "Tell Earth we held," in blood on a collapsed wall. I submitted a sealed report to the High Conclave. I recommended immediate cessation of hostilities, not out of pity, but because I had seen what your kind becomes when cornered. Not beasts, not martyrs, legends. I warned them that further aggression would not bring victory. My report was ignored. They promoted me, called me cautious, praised my restraint. They ordered the full mobilization of the Auric sector fleets. If you cannot break them with precision, they said, break them with power. But I knew power is exactly what makes you stronger. You consume it. You twist it into unity, into innovation, into resistance.
What happened next?
I resigned, or tried to. They confined me, interrogated me, feared I'd been compromised. In a way, I had. I had touched something my people do not understand. Humanity. Not your bodies, not your technology, your will. It is not ordered, not efficient, but it is indestructible. I was eventually released under surveillance, sent to less volatile assignments, but I could not forget. I found myself studying human literature, war poetry, history logs, ancient Earth broadcasts. I wept the first time I heard a soldier's letter read aloud, not because of the words, but because the man had written it while dying, and still made it beautiful. In time, I was granted diplomatic leave, a quiet exile dressed in ceremonial language. I could not speak openly of my admiration. That would have been sedition, but the truth followed me. It echoed. The humans did not simply resist, they revealed us, not just to themselves, but to ourselves. Every battle they fought stripped something away from us, our myth of perfection, our illusion of moral clarity, our belief that we deserved the stars. I thought we were conquerors, but the humans? You are mirrors. You show us what we are, whether we want to see it or not. My people will not change quickly. The Dominion does not bend, it shatters. But I have hope now, not for their approval, for their eventual silence. Perhaps, one day, they will look into the fire and choose not to throw another log in. If that happens, if even one world is spared, then the humans will have saved us, not with plasma or protocol, but with example. That is all I have to give you, Doctor. My confession, my collapse.
When I was a younger man, I served with a unit stationed along the Scorch Rim. We were outnumbered, supplies low, morale lower. Our commander told us, "You don't win wars by being unbreakable. You win by being willing to remake yourself every time you're broken." I didn't understand him then. I do now. Serenya'Kael, you were not defeated. You were changed. And change is the hardest battlefield of all. Between now and our next session, I want you to consider something. The humans showed you who you were, but what do you want them to see in you?
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more human supremacy Vanguard stories. We are a young channel and really appreciate your support in helping us to grow. Thank you.